Good morning.
My name is Miracle. I am an editor at the Platform for Law, Justice and Society. And I'll just have a few questions today and a conversation with you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes, I look forward to the conversation.
Thank you so much. We are glad to have you here today. Just to begin, we'll begin with the question on access to justice. And there's been a lot being said on that aspect of a multi-door approach to justice. And so what is it?
Access to justice is the overarching expectation of people-centered justice. Because you cannot talk about people-centered justice unless they are able to access it. And for people to access justice, there must be available mechanisms to enable them reach the courts or reach the other avenues of justice expeditiously. Because if you have a need for justice and then it takes you years to get there, you even forget what it is that you are searching for. For instance, if you are a victim of a crime and you are not able to get justice until 6-7 years down the line, you can't even remember what happened to you and how it happened 7 years ago. So this is why we talk about making judiciary accessible, making judiciary central to the people, and allowing people to participate and take part in the delivery of justice. This is how we do it. A needs assessment, a justice needs assessment was done about the kind of justice we deliver in the formal justice system. And it turned out from that survey that it's only about 10% who can access formal justice system through the court system. In other words, if you have a claim, you can go to court, let's say a magistrate's court, and you can follow it through, you can appeal to the High Court, you can appeal to the Court of Appeal, and eventually if there's an issue of constitutional interpretation or application or a matter of general public importance, you can also be able to come to the Supreme Court. So the question I ask myself is whether I'm the Chief Justice of 10%. I'm not. I'm the Chief Justice of the entire country. So it is our business to see to it how we can have a justice system that responds to the aspirations of Kenyans. Because it turned out that the 70% of these other Kenyans who cannot access the formal courts, they use some other mechanisms for justice. There is mediation, negotiations, elders, tribunals or councils. Chiefs also resolve a lot of disputes. The religious organizations also solve a lot of disputes in the churches or in the mosque. Even in the marketplace, communities themselves, they have a system of settling disputes arising in the communities. So this is why we are talking about the multi-door approach to justice. That justice is not only found in the corridors of the courts. Justice is a lived experience. Justice cuts across all of us. We would all like to experience justice, fairness, and therefore, what we have done is to explore means of reaching out to those other alternative justice systems, alternative dispute resolution mechanisms that we have had as a society, recalling that Africa is actually a depository of the alternative justice resolution mechanisms. In fact, somebody said it is not alternative, it is African dispute resolution mechanisms. So this is what we are doing by looking more into court annex mediation, because we have been brought up in the colonial way since we inherited this colonial legal regime, that if I have a grievance with you, I take you to court. We forget, those of us who read the Bible or the Quran, that we are instructed, if you have a dispute with your brother, first of all, you sit down and listen. So when they come to court, we look at those files, we vet them, and they see the ones that can be referred to the court annex mediation. And we are settling so many disputes through the court annexed mediation. We have now mediation going on in 68 court sessions. We started it as a pilot in 2016, and I'm happy that it has grown in leaps and bounds, and it is also becoming a free-fund way of resolving many disputes, especially commercial. You remember we had recently, we have held 2 conferences on resolving commercial disputes, whereby the Banking Association came up in a big way to support the court annex mediation to resolve disputes arising from the banking sector. And so many disputes. I met the CEO of the Kenya Banking Association, and he told me they have returned a lot of money which was held in disputes through court annex mediation. The other area is the family disputes, especially succession matters. The reason why they end up in court is sometimes because they can't talk to each other. They have whipped their own emotions. They have turned brother and brother against each other, brother and sister, brother and mother, and they have come to court. So we are telling them this is not the best forum to resolve family disputes. It's good if you sat at the table, you know what is best for you as a family. Those of you who remember, we launched the AJS Ukumbi Suite, the latest ones we launched in Moiben. And the elders are very happy about resolving those family disputes. When one of the elders, who is the chairman of that community, ADR mechanism, stood up to talk, he gave a very compelling example of why people take each other to court in family disputes. He said, they as elders and parents take a lot of time to amass wealth, in their time, create wealth in their time so that they can leave something for their children. But when they leave this world and their children are left with this estate, they don't know how to sit down and enjoy it and even divide it among themselves. They start squabbling, they go to court. There in comes, other interested parties, because when you go to court, you get assisted by lawyers, surveyors, land agents, brokers, all of them invade the estate. And then the dispute goes on and on and on. And by the time they are sharing the estate, it is probably been reduced in value. So he gave an example of like a family that has cooked food. The food is ready to be eaten, it has been put on the table, but they can't agree how to share it among themselves. They have to call a neighbor to come and tell us, how do we share this food? Come and tell us how to serve this food. And the neighbor looks at it and decides, I think I need to look for another neighbor, because the food is either so little for all of you, or it looks like it is not ready to be served, and yet it is cooked. So they go around. By the time they come to serve this food, it is cold, it is stale, it is of no use to them. And that's the example they give of the estates. And they wondered, what is wrong with us Kenyans? When you are left with an estate, the law is very clear who are supposed to benefit. It is the spouse, it is the children, it is those who are being supported by the deceased, the beneficiaries. And what is so difficult in knowing who are the spouses, the spouse or spouses, who are the children of the deceased? Do you really need to go to court for years to know that? And what is the estate, to be divided? The law itself says how that estate should be divided. It's among the houses, the children, and all of you are entitled as children, but disputes come because people want to procrastinate the whole process and to delay it, and especially those who have an advantage over the other. So this is where court annexed mediation is helping us, because the mediator is able to talk to both sides and beat sense in them that it is in their best interest that they resolve the matter quickly, they take their share, and they settle down, and they proceed to the next level. So the other multi-door approach is, of course, the ADL, which is established as the many people write in their contracts, especially commercial contracts, that should there be a dispute, it should be taken to the alternative dispute resolution. And that goes on very well. It's very well entrenched. We have a whole law on that, and we are augmenting it with mediation and negotiations, because even before you go to a full-fledged ADL, you can negotiate. Nobody stops you from negotiating. The other one is the AJS, the Alternative Justice System, and I hope you have followed the many tribunals or ukumbis that we have established under AJS. It's actually also court annexed. It is operating within a court structure whereby we have trained elders to deal with the alternative justice system, not only within the court but also in the community, in the chief centers. That is happening. We are already in 11 counties. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And how does the judiciary ensure that these alternative justice systems honor the traditional customs, while maintaining alignment with our constitution and other international human rights standards?
Actually, that's a very, very important question, because this is why AJS has been trashed, that it's imbued with culture. And culture, we have some cultural practices that do not meet the standards of human rights, like the practices we have, negative practices, cultural practices, like early child marriage, FGM, to name just a few. But there are so many other positive cultural aspects that we have in our society, which we celebrate, especially resolving disputes. So what we have done, because it's entrenched in our constitution, that we embrace the alternative justice system and we encourage it, we have become very proactive in training. This is why we have not started it in all the 47 counties. For instance, like when we started technology, we started it in Nairobi. We went on to Mombasa. We went to Kisumu. Then when we knew the system was stable, we were able to say nationwide and launched e-filing nationwide. But for NJS, we've realized that it has to be organically grown in every court station. We've got to train people. We've got to train the communities. We have to train the elders. And we have to establish a connection between those ukumbis, we call them ukumbis, and the local court station. We train them on the principles, the values of the Constitution. First of all, they must be, all-encompassing. They must embrace everybody. For instance, where I come from, the alternative justice system, the Njurincheke, did not have a place for women. So we have told them, if we have to work with Njurincheke has to be compliant with the Constitution. In other words, in the Tribunal for Resolving Disputes under AJS, which has a connection with the court, they must have a separate one, which has women, the youth, persons with disability, and they must not practice gender discrimination. So we train them about the principles of non-discrimination, the principles of inclusion, and the rights-based approach to, dispute resolution. Fair hearing. You must hear everybody, and you must give a chance to everybody. So this is why I'm telling you AJS is organic. We train every tribunal that we are setting up. We take them through the constitutional principles. We give them the standard operating procedure of how you set the tribunal, and the rules, and even the code of conduct for the tribunal members, because of course our society is very volatile when it comes to matters of bribery, corruption. So we make them also sign the code of conduct that this is how you operate as a Nukumbi. This is why we are in 11 and we are not in 47, but we are moving slowly. In the next few weeks, we are going to Ajiro, and we hope to cover the whole country in the fullness of time.
Thank you so much. So are there any particular successes or challenges of this model, and that you could share about implementing AJS initiatives so far?
The challenges, of course, we have is the usual one, the budgetary constraints. Since AJS started, actually, it has never even been funded by the judiciary. It has just been funded by partners. But this year, the Judicial Service Commission was able to visit some of those ukumbis, and were very, very impressed. And budget has been included in this financial year. But of course, we still experience budgetary cuts because we would like to train more people. We would like to be in all those other counties where we are not. And to reach there, of course, you need a team that goes there and trains them. You need infrastructure where they will operate this ukumbi. The court stations we have constrained with the space. Like Nakuru, the religious organizations opened their own. And it's working very well, and it's connected with the judiciary. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, the next question is, the Kenyan judiciary is now being used as a model for the use of technology in promoting access to justice, both in Africa and worldwide. And this has come, with the use of the digitization of court records, e-filing systems, and then virtual courts. They've really transformed how the judiciary operates. So from your own perspective, how is technology enhancing access to justice, and especially for those who have always been historically marginalized?
Oh, that is really a game changer. Technology has become the game changer when you talk about access to justice, and especially even the digital divide between the far-flung areas, now lawyers will tell you how comfortable it is for them to pursue their matters in court. I've heard testimonies of lawyers saying how convenient it is now. They, at the comfort of their office, they prepare the the printings, they file online from the comfort of their desk. They don't have to go to court, look for a parking, then go to the registry, look for somebody to open for you a file. Then when the file is open, look for somebody to take it for you before the judge or the magistrate. After the order is issued, look for another one to take it to the registry for the order to be extracted, and another one to have the order served. All that now is happening electronically. You file your documents. The documents will go to the court where you have filed. If there is an application and a certificate of urgency, it will go before the judge or the magistrate who is on duty. The judge or the magistrate who is on duty will look at it and give directions. And if there is an order to be given, the order is also given and it's sent back to you. So you don't have to leave your office. Also, virtual hearings are taking place, video conferencing. We have a portal for the cause list. You people are young, you may not remember the debacle of the cause list. When we were practicing, every day at about 3, 4, you sent somebody to the court to receive a cause list so that they can bring it to you to know where you are appearing tomorrow. And you know how difficult it is in case you are appearing in Milimani, you are appearing at what we used to call Sheria House, and you are appearing at Kibera. You will have to send 3 people to get those cause lists for you to know where you are appearing. Now, by the click of the button, you go to the cause list portal and you get your cause lists. Then the distances also, and leveraging also with other government agencies, because we realized judicial services are services like any other. So where we have Huduma centers, why wouldn't we partner with them to allow citizens to file their documents at Huduma center, instead of going to the cyber cafes? And we were able to find a way with the Law Society that first of all thought using the Huduma center is taking away work from the lawyers, but they understood it's just it's just a facility like any other. You can choose to go to a cyber cafe, you can choose to go to a Huduma center, or you can do it at the lawyer's office. Those who are represented by lawyers, they don't have to go to the Huduma center. And I think we have come to that understanding. I'm told actually many lawyers go to the Huduma center also to file from there. So we are making a lot of progress. We have been able to digitize our records. We started in a small way, supported by the Ministry of ICT through a program called Ajira, which was also supported by a partner, the MasterCard Foundation. We have digitized our records. I think all our records from 2019 are now digital. Any case that was filed in 2019, from 2019 to 2024, they are all on the CTS, and others are being uploaded. So this is truly a milestone. And because I interact a lot with other Chief Justices from Africa, they are benchmarking a lot with Kenya on how to embrace technology as an enabler to access to justice.
Thank you so much. Now, just a question. What do you see is the place of artificial intelligence, especially in the operation of the judiciary?
It is work in progress. First of all, we are trying to understand how the artificial intelligence can be used to bring efficiency within the judiciary. Being also cautious that it's a new tool that has just come in. So most of the work that is happening now is to help us in record management and in transcription, because we have set up a national transcription center for the judiciary, where all the proceedings that are going on online are being transcribed overnight. And we are using, to some extent, AI. But I believe we can do more with it, even in terms of helping judges and magistrates organize their work, organize their research. AI can be able to bring out all the aspects of the case that are similar, and can also lead you to previous decisions so that you cannot contradict yourself, and can bring you all the laws also on that aspect of the matter that you're dealing with. It can actually make the work of a judge easier. So we are exploring all those possibilities.
Thank you so much for that. It's really forward-looking. And you had spoken about, this digital divide that comes with, and especially for those people that have access gaps in getting this digital literacy, internet access. So how is the judiciary addressing this divide that has?
The Department of ICT is continuously educating our own people. Just last week, I attended a training session on how to use a new application that we are using now to apply for leave, because we are trying to go paperless, even when people are applying for leave, and to have a portal. So training is going on throughout with the judges, magistrates, stakeholders, court users, lawyers. The other day, they were training the police. And I found that very useful, because they went to police stations and they are training them. How do you use the judiciary e-filing? How do you track your case? And it is a police officer who was explaining to the people with his own phone how you can track your case. So training is very, very important. We wish we had more resources to be able to have programs, including on the radio, especially the vernacular radios, explaining to people how you can access the courts through your phone. You can track your case, and you can even receive a lot of information. Like all our judgments, rulings are all sent online. They are sent on email. So you receive your judgment on email. As an ordinary Kenyan, you can be able to you make maximum use also of your phone. But we also know that there are many people without smartphones. And there are many people who can't also access the Huduma Center. But what we are saying about the courts, when you have an issue that requires you to go to court, you actually come to court. Am I right? So if you can come to court, it doesn't matter whether you have traveled 100 kilometers to come to court. The court will assist you. We have an assisting office that is a customer service desk. At that customer service desk, there is a computer and there is an officer. So whatever assistance you require, either to file the documents or to find any information, you will be assisted at the court station. And now with all this information and the training going also to the police officers, I believe even at the police station you can be able to be assisted. Yes, because we are working together also under NCAJ to see how we can have a coordinated approach to access to justice, because you can never succeed alone as the judiciary. You need to work with the others. We need to work with other agencies in the justice sector.
Thank you so much for that.